You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert. Clear all channels.
This is an exclusive
Pay-per-view review.
How you like that?
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
Welcome to Wrestling Unwrapped, special number 18. That was about enough as I could stand of that terrible dribble of a Fast Lane theme song. We are brought to you by the W2M Network and, of course, in partnership with Last Word on Sports and Wrestlemania.com. And Gary, take it away.
All right, guys, we are here and we are ready to talk Fast Lane. I hope you're excited about listening to this because I'm excited about talking about Fast Lane. There are some things in this show we're going to be... come on. We got to get people to want to listen to the show, right?
God, let's not make people not want to listen to the show by being snarky already at the beginning of the day.
I know. But anyway, let's break this thing down, guys. We are talking Fast Lane tonight. We're going to get into all the different things that happened during the show. And then, of course, after Fast Lane, we want to let you know we're talking some New Japan. That's right. We got more Honor Rising talk. We're doing Friday and Saturday shows of Honor Rising. So we've got that stuff coming for you. Plus, giant news this week out of New Japan, but you're going to have to wait till we actually get to that to listen about all those interesting tidbits of New Japan, so you're going to have to hold your horses. But guys, I'm excited about this show. I hope you are too. Today, of course, we have Mr. Patrick Ketza from Wrestling Unwrapped on the W2M Network here with us. Man, we are so happy you're back with us again.
Once again, stop lying.
Hey, you should be very happy about being here. Your co-host and your partner in crime, Mr. Harry Broadhurst, is not here, sadly, tonight. So you don't have to fight with a guy. Tonight, you actually get a night off.
Yeah, true. And obviously, I'm kidding around. We're going to have a great time doing this, as we always do. Should be
I feel like Patrick is going to single one of us out to argue with tonight. I feel that's what's going to happen.
No.
You instigated, Paul. It's you.
That's fine with me.
Hey, everybody, that's Mr. Paul Leeser from Wrestling to the Max with me and Mr. Sean Garmer, the producer of this show and almost every show on the network. Welcome, Sean.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's only 4 of them, because if I had to do all the other ones, I'd probably die of exhaustion.
And Sean, you are exhausted already, and so if anybody hears Sean and he kind of sounds a little lackluster, it's not just a pay-per-view probably. It's having to do with lack of sleep, but that's okay. Busy guy. But we're gonna have...
I decided to get up in the middle of the night and finish writing the Honor Rising Night 2 review, sleep a couple of hours, go to work, and then get off basically in time to watch Fast Lane.
So running on empty, but here we are, and we're excited to have you. So, let's get this thing started, guys. Why delay? You've already got to hear that beautiful Fast Lane song. So trust me, guys, we're not putting you through that hell again. Let's go ahead and start with the big event, the main event, what everybody's going to be talking about, and that is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose, Fast Lane's main event. And wow, this is one where I think the opinions are already flying out on the internet. You guys, I know, have yours. In the end, I don't want to say it, Roman Reigns won. Finish wasn't what we wanted, but here we are. He did win. It took Brock Lesnar going through 2 tables. And, of course, Ambrose being Ambrose in this match, just not enough to win. But, starting this thing off, Patrick, I mean, give me your thoughts on the match and the way this thing all rounded out.
Before I get to that, I have to ask the question. Does anybody really know what they want?
It's true.
Well, they know what they want. It's we don't really care for what they want, so, that's the dichotomy, the juxtaposition that we have here.
Fair enough. As far as the match goes, and we were kind of talking about it, before we kicked off here, it almost seems universal that we knew what we were getting, and that was going to be Roman Reigns winning. Would they want to throw a swerve? Maybe, but in this case, no. But it really seemed like the match was getting going, and then it just ended. It really seemed to really get going, and with the Kimura, and then Ambrose brings in the chair, which it seemed like the three of them really did work well together. But suddenly, Ambrose goes crazy with the chair, and then spear, and it's over. I think that's kind of one of the major issues that I have with it, is the fact that we knew what we were getting. It was how were they going to get there, and I don't know if they wanted shock value with the sudden ending or what, but I think that's kind of the biggest gripe I have about this match, is how it ended, not the ending, which was Roman Reigns, facing Triple H, and I'm sure, most of us are going to absolutely love that when we're all in Dallas in a few months, but we knew what we were getting. It's how they got there.
That's a nail on the head right there. We all knew Roman Reigns was going over. That is the story they're telling. There's no shock here. And I'm sure they will find a way to gimmick up that main event too, because they're going to have to do something to keep all of us from booing Roman Reigns out of Dallas. I really enjoyed the structure of the match all the way up to the finish, though, because half the match was dedicated to making sure Brock did not look weak, as if we needed that, but it's always appreciated because he's a walking, talking murder machine. And Jesus, were these two guys selling for him like nobody's business. I'm pretty sure Dean rolled over on his top of his head twice for those suplexes, especially the belly to belly on the outside where he pretty much landed on top of his head. And going forward, I think Dean and Brock is going to be the one that that's going to make you want to go to WrestleMania. Because that match should be something super special.
The million-dollar question you would have with that, though, is who do you really have win, considering the fact that Brock has not lost clean straight up since WrestleMania 29, if I recall, since he lost the belt he lost the belt without taking a pin. Has he even lost a match, like actually lost taking a pin, since losing to Triple H?
Not that I can recall.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's interesting, and the way this all is rounding out, I think you guys are correct, and I look at that undercard of WrestleMania and really think that's what we're all going for. I think that's exactly what you guys are talking about, because the Roman Reigns winning was predictable, but at the same time, I didn't want it because I think it makes the main event at WrestleMania predictable. I don't think they could strike lightning twice, and really, Seth Rollins can't come and win the title this year. So I don't think, unless they find some kind of really, really creative way to really end WrestleMania this year, I kind of know walking in, Roman Reigns is going to be holding the title high, end of show. I don't know. That's the only reason I didn't like it. I just want to preface that because anybody who's a big Roman Reigns fan probably didn't like the way I started the show or this segment. That's my biggest problem with it. I don't have a problem with Roman Reigns. Do whatever. I hope he has a successful career. It's just that it's too predictable, and I don't like predictable.
Yeah, but, sometimes predictable isn't always the worst thing. I think the worst thing for WWE at this point would have been for them to just try to correct course and go with something willy-nilly. This is what they've been building to for 2 years with Roman Reigns. You could nitpick certain things with him, but this is what they want, and now they have to suffer the consequences that happen when you try to force-feed things. And, when he gets booed at WrestleMania 32 and we have another Triple H Randy Orton situation from 25, how appropriate that it was the last time they were in Texas, they're going to get upset about it.
I would also argue that the worst has already happened for the WWE. Half their roster is her going into their biggest show of the year in one of the largest arenas in the world, and they're trying to sell it out. And here we are with some questions as to whether this main event is going to draw enough people for them to really make this feel like they're going to have a shot at breaking the attendance record.
Oh, but
They're not.
there's no main event that WWE had or possibly could have had at all that would have sold by itself. It had to be the entire card.
John Cena and The Undertaker is the only thing I can really think of that would do that. But it's almost impossible for them to smash 113,000 people in.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. You got to think about it like that. It's just, it's crazy to think that if they even get 100,000, they really should be happy with that because, it's insane. You have all that standing room only space that you can literally have just pockets of people standing everywhere. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I'm more worried about the fact that we're going to go, some of us still feel bad that, Paul's not going to be able to go, that we're going to go to that TakeOver show, and then we get to WrestleMania, and it's going to be like, oh, wow, this is it,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm exactly right there with you, Sean, because, we're already expecting a lot of great things out of that show. Then all of a sudden you're thrown into WrestleMania and you're thinking, man, I had so much fun just down the road and at this little arena compared to this giant stadium. What happened? You know what I mean? It's just the way I'm going to feel going into this thing. But that's okay.
We have somebody that called in here. Welcome to Rest of the Max. What are you calling to talk about today?
I just wanted to give my opinions on Fast Lane.
Hey, Mr. Rick Valen, how you doing?
I'm okay, guys.
Glad to have you back.
Huh?
I said glad to have you back on, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I figured somebody needed to represent the Raw reaction since Harry is taking a break, I guess. Which y'all can listen to after Raw on Monday nights. But anyway,
get that plug in there.
That's right.
Yeah, the pay-per-view, I was a little disappointed. The main event, I guess it was pretty obvious, but the match itself, I couldn't really get into. A lot of times the triple threat matches are becoming very formaic, and it's like, you have a triple threat for a reason because you have triple threat action, but now the way they do triple threats or fatal four-ways is one guy is going to be on the outside of the ring while you just have a combination of a one-on-one match. And that's pretty much how the whole entire match went. Brock would take out Dean Ambrose, so you have Brock and Roman in the ring in a one-on-one match, basically, until someone else gets taken out. So it's all we're watching is combinations of one-on-one matches, and we're not getting the full effect of a real triple threat match.
I would personally argue that this is the one time in maybe 1,000 triple threat matches that the WWE has had that the formula actually works and makes sense, because you have Brock murdering everybody, so feasibly it's okay for them to roll the outside to breathe, and then you have the other times where they were making, or they put Brock through the tables because they got murdered for the first 10 minutes. But that's just me.
the table spots. I did like the table spots to get Brock out of it. That was pretty good. But the thing that kind of hit me about it, though, was right when it was starting to pick up, when Brock got back in the ring after the second table spot, and he hit the German Samoan suplex drop on him. Right then, it was really starting to get good, and then Dean Ambrose came in with the chair, and I was starting to get excited, and then bam, it kind of ended abruptly for me. A spear and then a pin. I was like, they could have had so much more. I think that match needed more time at the end. I didn't like the way it finished. And I'm not saying that I didn't like Roman Reigns winning. I'm just saying I didn't like the way he won. I didn't like the finish.
Yeah. I don't think there's a soul on this podcast who's going to argue with you about that.
Yeah, and I think the internet community too.
it didn't progress anything either. That I thought it would. I think a lot of people were expecting some more of a tiff between Reigns and Ambrose. I mean, I know he used the chair on Reigns, but I think that's going to be brushed off as it's all fair and love and war type of deal. I don't think Reigns is going to hold him accountable for using the chair, and nothing happened with. I was expecting something that would kind of foreshadow Brock's WrestleMania match, and nothing happened there either. So I guess they're saving it for television.
How do you feel, Rick? I mean, this is Roman Reigns. He's going to WrestleMania versus Triple H. Is that okay with you? Do you feel good about that main event? We were just having this discussion of the way WrestleMania is kind of rounded out. The main event almost doesn't seem the selling point to this whole entire show.
And I'm not even a Roman Reigns hater. I'm one of the few guys on the internet that likes to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think Roman Reigns could be a very good main eventer for the company. He just needs to tweak his character a little bit, in my opinion. I don't like the cocky joke cracking character. I prefer Samoan badass, where he doesn't speak too much, but just gets in the ring and hits hard and hits often, something like that. But this main event though, I think they would have done better if they wanted Roman Reigns and Triple H. I think it would have worked out better for Reigns to just have kept the title, and after he presumably went through everybody and become unstoppable, that's when Triple H finally says, okay, the Authority doesn't want you to be champion. There's only one way I can get that title off of you. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. You're going to wrestle me at WrestleMania. And I think that would have been a better build for the same match, in my opinion.
I want to say that. I think what you're thinking here is actually something I would have been more excited about watching the main event for, because the scenario you're talking about is a scenario where the Authority is going to try to cheat and find a way for Triple H to get the belt off Reigns, compared to now where it's really up to Reigns to get the belt off Triple H. I think it would have been more compelling. But, yeah, I think I kind of agree with you on that.
I mean, the thing is, I could be wrong, but I don't think too many people are expecting Triple H, a part-time player, to hold the belt after WrestleMania. I mean, they might want to throw a wrench in it just so it's not as predictable, but as it stands now, it almost is a foregone conclusion that we know who's going to win the main event at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I was, kind of mentioning the selling point of this show, because I think a lot of people walking in that stadium this April is just going to consider the main event done, sealed in the basket. Reigns is going to be holding the title high, whereas, the rest of this card may be the reason why they're coming to watch the show, because they don't know what's going to happen with the Intercontinental title. They have no idea who the Divas Champion is going to be at the end of the day. But basically the world title, they all know what's going to happen. So, I don't know. That was just kind of what we were discussing earlier. What did you think about the rest of this show? I mean, while we got you on the line here, how did you feel about go ahead,
wanted to make this known here. There was a poll created by WWE in the last hour that has about, I want to say, 13,000 votes on it, and 10,500 votes thumbs down for WWE Fast Lane to 2.3 thousand votes thumbs up.
Wow.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't at all. I mean, that's crazy.
It almost seems like at this point now, the entire company and fan base and everyone that boos will just have to bite the bullet and deal with it in Dallas.
Yeah.
Considering
Paul,
they don't have a brief. Sorry, it is the last point. They don't have a briefcase to surprise you with this time, unlike last year. with Roman and Seth cashing in. It's not that Seth isn't here. They don't have the briefcase to do it. So everyone's just going to have to bite the bullet and deal with it starting the next night. Deal with it April 4th.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen it before where they can change things the next night. You know, it's not with the main WWE title, but they've done it with other titles, so who knows? Perhaps they do it.
Yeah, you never know. The one thing I was going to say, I can't believe that they actually put this poll out, Paul. I mean, it's almost like something they maybe should have thought again about doing.
They do it every pay-per-view. I mean, it's not surprising. The how it happens, I think, might be more important because I could see obviously a step being thrown on here. Like, I really wouldn't shock me again if they throw Hell in a Cell back into Mania again for this, or if you have Seth Rollins come in and turn on Triple H and that's how Roman wins, or the possibilities I think for how to move the belt over are endless. It's just even that you just know that Roman's already walking out with the belt, though, is the only problem.
Great point, for sure. So, I mean, we're going to get there and time is going to progress. But, I mean, right now as it sits, Roman Reigns is definitely the man, and he's going to be making his way to the main event of WrestleMania. But, Rick, I mean, I just got to ask you while we got you on the line, I just want to know some of your other thoughts about this show.
Well, let me get some positive feedback since we kind of went down a negative wormhole. But AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. Yeah, a few little miscues, but all in all, that was probably the best out of their three-match series. I really enjoyed that match. I thought that was a great match. And the Divas tag match was pretty good, too. As for the Divas Championship match, I didn't like the finish on that one either, just because Brie Bella can't even hold a half crab and make it look believable. I know she was trying to sell some injury while she was performing the move, but man, she had was putting no pressure or no even perceived pressure on the leg of Charlotte, and Charlotte was just laying there like she was doing a yoga stretch. She wasn't even selling that move at all.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things you still wonder. I mean, she's got one of the best, technical wrestlers at this time, and at least young guys. She's married to him. She can't do this. I don't know. You would think she'd do more training at home.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
Oh, I like that, Rick.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anybody else think anything about that? I mean, it's kind of interesting that kind of worked out that way.
I'll save my hatred for when we get there later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Save it.
Yeah.
All right, Rick.
I think we're all that way.
Yeah. So any of these other matches, Rick, that you really kind of wanted to point some things out about?
Well, I'll make a comment on this. The Edge and Christian the Peep show with the New Day. That kind of threw me for a loop. I was really confused at the end of that. I liked how they used it to kind of establish, or what I think is going to establish, the new number one contenders to the tag titles, which would be the League of Nations and it looks like maybe Rusev and Sheamus to go after the tag titles. But the way they got there was kind of strange, because it started off with Edge and Christian poking fun or kind of getting into it with the New Day, and then as we ended it, it was Edge and Christian was partying with the New Day on the ramp and having fun with them, trying to make League of Nations look stupid. And I didn't connect the dots how they got from A to B. It just kind of confused the hell out of me at the end.
It was an insanely disjointed angle that ended up being totally worth it for Edge making it rain while the New Day booty danced.
That was the entire thing I took away from that film.
I guess I just got to roll with the punches and enjoy the little things.
I guess you just got to enjoy the entertainment part of the WWE.
Right.
Yeah, it did not really to me it's common sense, but at the same time, hey, it was fun. Whatever.
But I will say I do like the idea of, and I never even thought of League of Nations at that level to challenge for the tag team titles, especially with heels being the champions and the league being heels. When I look at the tag team division, the only teams I see is like for as contenders would be like the Usos, and really I don't want to see the Usos and the New Day again. And the Dudleys kind of got a new edge on them, but I kind of don't want to see the Dudleys in the New Day again. So this was interesting, and I gotta say I am looking forward to League of Nations versus New Day. I like to see how that goes.
I still think we're getting that multi-man tag match at Mania, but it'll I guess if they're just going to start throwing random teams in there, that'll be a fun ride.
It's something where I think you're right on that, Paul, because right now, you really, Rick just kind of pointed out, there's really nobody you're thrilled about seeing face against the New Day, and it's not like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are going to heal overnight to come back and face him, so it's just kind of a shame, but it is what it is. I don't know. I agree with you, Rick, though. This was kind of weird because I just don't like any of these opponents. So, was there anything else you kind of wanted to point out? Anything else you were thinking about?
That's everything I got off the top of my head. So I got my opinions out there. So.
Oh, definitely, man, and we appreciate you calling in, Rick. It's awesome to have you. We definitely love the Raw reaction. You guys are awesome, and we try to promote you guys every time we get a chance. And just go ahead and give a shout out. Let everybody know what time on Monday nights your show comes on.
Well, if you tune in after Raw about 10:30, me, Harry Broadhurst, who's a normal co-host on this show, and Internet's favorite Tony Acero, we all do the Raw reaction right after Raw. And we've got the best producer in the world, Jimmy C. I can't leave him out. But yeah, if y'all tune into us, Greg DeMarco Radio, we put a link out on the Yes Wrestling page, and so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
good
definitely.
insight to the show and good characters talking about it.
For sure. So we encourage everybody to go check those guys out. Man, Rick, thanks a lot for calling in again. We really appreciate you, bro.
No, thank y'all. Thanks for giving me the line, man.
No problem. Later, buddy.
Later.
All right, guys. We know we've talked a lot about the main event, so let's go ahead and move on down the road and let's talk about something else. And we don't have to go in order. I don't think that's important here. I do want to kind of talk about this Kevin Owens match. I think it was an intercontinental match. I think people were kind of wondering, is Dolph Ziggler going to actually be able to get the title off Kevin Owens, or is Owens going to retain? Owens ended up retaining here. But for me, it was an okay match. I thought it was actually pretty well done. That was me personally. But I mean, looking at this, Sean, I mean, did you enjoy this match?
Oh yeah, this was. It was good. When you had so many matches together, sometimes it's really hard to be able to top each one. I think that they found a way to do it here. They did a great job of just putting more stuff on it every time, and they did some nice spots where you thought maybe Dolph could have a chance there, but Owens wins, and there you go.
Patrick, I love the fact that during this match you just had Owens going on and on to Ziggler about how his own hometown was not cheering for him at times. I love that. That's part of the reason why I love Kevin Owens. But I mean, after this whole thing ended out, were you happy with Kevin Owens retaining here?
Yeah, definitely. Just because I think Owens seems to be kind of the hot hand right now, and he's probably the best talker among the actual roster, Paul Heyman notwithstanding as a manager. So I think he is kind of, the guy that you want to go with as someone to trust with a championship. And, the climb of Kevin Owens has kind of been a rocket strap or rocket shoved up your ass kind of situation. But he's holding up his end of the bargain, and I thought the match that they had tonight was great. Still, I'm a little iffy about the ending just because, to me, it looked like the ref was in clear view of a low blow. But that notwithstanding, everything before that I thought was pretty good. I was afraid that Machine Gun Kelly was actually going to cost Owens the belt, which made me wonder if Ziggler was going to win it. But in the end, I was happy with how everything ended up turning out.
I cringe every time I see Machine Gun Kelly. I just do.
I cringed when I saw him too.
Just like the Flow Rider thing. I was like, oh, come on.
Oh, God.
Sickness. Paul, here we are, Paul, and, at the end of the day, Kevin Owens is looking pretty well. And like I said, I enjoyed this match, but, did you think that the way this whole thing turned out, it was positive for Kevin Owens, or do you think that they could have done some things better?
I think the match was fine. Honest to God, it was worth it just to hear JBL spout off that they were having a super kick party. Some young buck love there, There's Dolph didn't have a popsicle's chance in hell here of beating Kevin Owens, but it was still a really good match. I think Kevin looked great. I think Dolph looked great. I think this was close to being the best match on the card, personally, but this certainly not a waste of your time.
Popsicle's chance in hell.
That's a new one.
I know. I was sitting there going, yeah, it really doesn't have a chance, but,
It makes you miss those WWE ice cream bars, huh?
Oh, man. I would do a lot of things for that to come back.
Oh,
It'd
boy.
be nice just to...
How
We're
many?
PG here, folks.
Yeah. Goldust is listening.
Oh.
I kid. That was so 1990.
Hey, rapping Goldust wasn't too bad, though.
That true?
Go ahead.
Stuttering Goldust was.
Sorry, no, it doesn't hold a candle to Bo Rida. So, but anyway, this is, to me was one of the better matches too. I really did enjoy this match. I was almost surprised the way the card ended up because this was the second match on the card, whereas when we had the Divas tag at the beginning, I really thought that they were going to kick this thing off with the IC title. They've done it in the past, and I just think this could have done it. But I was okay with the Divas tag too, not saying anything about that. So, but here we are with Kevin Owens moving on, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's really positive for him. Ziggler. Let's be honest, we all know that he's not really going anywhere. I don't know what's going to happen with him. So, but hey, I kind of mentioned already. Let's go ahead and talk about that Divas tag match that we had here with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch facing off against Tamina and Naomi. And, pretty decent match. I thought it fared pretty well, Patrick. You do have Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch going over here and getting the victory. Were you pretty okay with that?
I almost feel like if they're going the route that a lot of people are expecting to go for WrestleMania, being a triple threat, you had no choice. But I'm kind of going to give a little bit of an opinion of the Divas title match. Everybody in the Divas title match made Tamina freaking Snuka look good. But, as far as this match goes, yeah, I thought this was actually a great match. The one thing I found funny is I think Becky Lynch had more experience in the ring than everybody else in the match combined. It's just it's just something that I just happen to notice. The match itself, I thought was actually really, really good. It still seems weird to me that Sasha and Becky are tagging after what happened a month ago at the Royal Rumble, but it seems like they're trying to book them on par to set up the triple threat with Charlotte and Dallas. And for the love of God, if they don't go with the triple threat, if they go with anything else, I'll riot.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the way they're going, though, so we don't have to worry about that.
They'll throw Bree in just for the hell of it.
Oh, God save me. They better not.
I just don't see what the advantage of having Bree is in there.
Sympathy.
She's not going to add anything to the match. It's not like Sasha and Becky aren't fan favorites and don't get their own chance. I mean, you know.
Someone's got to bring out the yes movement.
No.
I don't think we need a lot of prodding to chant yes, personally, but
yeah.
Someone's got to take the pinfall.
Yeah. There you go.
That's about it.
Right.
Exactly. What do you think about this? What, overall, Paul, I mean, what was your opinion about this tag match?
I mean, this was a rock-solid tag match with a really fun ending stretch to me. I mean, there's some fun spots here or there. I think, Becky and Sasha continued to sort of tease or continued to work unevenly until the end, which really helped the story, while Team Bad was just on par with all the teamwork stuff. So, well-told story. There's nothing to complain about here.
Did you agree, Sean? I mean, were you okay with this? And especially since this is the opener. I did not expect this to be the opener at all.
No, I didn't either. It kind of makes sense when you think about there being two Divas matches, you know, having one of them later and one of them at the beginning. This was pretty good. I mean, everybody got some time there. Becky, I was happy to hear Becky getting chants and everything, and you know, it's pretty much what it was. You know, you kind of knew what was going to happen here, so just glad they got to have a good match and they gave it some time.
Yeah, I am too. You know, and you know, once again, I think Patrick's right. We're just kind of getting through this whole thing so we can get to the storyline of a triple threat or something on that lines to WrestleMania. That's the kind of way I felt about this because I'm sorry, I just still feel awkward with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks tagging. I see them more as enemies than I do, you know, partners here. But that'll all change now that this whole match is over. So let's go ahead and talk about a match that really we shouldn't talk about, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Let's have a cool down here. R-Truth versus Curtis Axel, and Curtis Axel wins. Basically, Goldust kind of screws over R-Truth in a way by distraction, but it is what it is. This doesn't matter to anything except maybe some hashtagging during the show. But, I mean, what did you think, Patrick? Anything out of this that you even care about talking about? Anything. Just one thing. One word. Silence is golden.
I don't know what they're doing here, because if this is somehow a match, even on the free show, it's kind of dumb. Like, just, what are they building the storyline for the Battle Royal later? Or I'm going to guess they're going to randomly put them in the multi-man, whatever the tag team title thing is going to be at the last minute.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. But I'll say this: the best thing that I read about this match was I watched a WWE pay-per-view and a Superstars match broke out. That's
about right.
Best review.
About right.
Yeah, because that totally needs to be happening on a pay-per-view.
You know what? At this rate, I'll take a Superstars match over that Divas title match.
Oh,
you know, and it's the same thing with like that Edge and New Day thing too. It's just like, look, some of it was good. I laughed, but just it dragged on. And then like the rumors going around that it was supposed to be Enzo and Cass, and then it's a League of Nations. It's like, wow, like, as soon as the League of Nations came out, I was just like, okay, I'm going to go do something else now.
Yeah, you get your pillow out, you know. Oh, that was terrible. You know, and I had so much fun watching that whole thing because it just you know, the comedy bits were going and moving fine until that point of the League of Nations. I think they should have just left it alone. New Day, the Edge and Christian, that's fine. Let them do their thing and then get out of the ring. come on. I get it. We talked about it earlier. There's a feud brewing here. I just don't care about the feud.
It almost seemed when I think the thing that would have been a saving grace to that entire segment is because it almost seemed like they were inching towards it and it never actually happened. If anything, I don't give a damn what it was, if something fell on the League of Nations when they were all in the ring and New Day and ENC were on the outside, if when Edge goes and says, here's your opportunity, here's your 5-second pose, and then something falls on them, I don't even care what it is. But I think that could have been a saving grace. But it just seemed like it seemed like the entire segment was building to a joke that you'd never got the punchline for.
You're exactly right, Patrick, and I totally expected something to fall. I was waiting for it. It never happened.
Yeah.
I was kind of dumbfounded by that.
Yeah.
I mean, so long as that segment still ended with Edge making it rain on them while they booty danced, I wouldn't have cared. That needs to be a GIF, like right now.
Yeah, I agree.
It probably is.
Well, they couldn't even figure out whether they wanted to call it a GIF or a GIF, so I thought it was a great.
All I know is, Kofi Kingston just gave. So, anyway, let's talk about something else here that you guys really are fired up about, and I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about it. That is Charlotte Flair, who defeated Miss Brie Bella here in this show, Fast Lane. And I just got to know, Paul, you were saving your opinion. I got to hear it.
They tried so hard to make you care about this, and they even got the time, but my God, there were so many botches in this, it hurt. And the one that bugs me the most is the one that I think any wrestler would have bailed out of really soon. That was when they were going for the tilt-a-whirl into the yes lock by Brie, and none of them let go. They just stayed a together mess for way longer than they should have, and that just it didn't get prettier from there either, guys. It was bad.
No, it did not. Patrick, you got the hot tag. What was your, the information you were saving?
They tried. That's the only positive and even equidistant comment I can make about this. That might be one of the worst matches the WWE's had in a long time.
Goodness.
It just seemed like it was just botch after botch after botch. And like I mentioned earlier, even during, the single leg Boston Crab, all she had to do was have her legs be reversed. That was it. If her left leg, the injured leg, was the one pinning Charlotte's arm down because she wasn't even standing properly while doing it, you could have had Charlotte, try and, hit the knee or something, and that would have been a good bailout into, the figure 8 or whatever. It seemed like nothing went right at all. And I almost wish that tomorrow night Sasha would beat Charlotte for the belt, and we just got Sasha and Becky at WrestleMania, and Charlotte's nowhere to be found. I know it's not going to happen,
That's
but
fine.
I can dream.
The problem is, though, Charlotte, we've said this a bunch of times, that Charlotte is still not ready to be in a match where she is the one leading the other person. It shows when you're in there with probably one of the most inept wrestlers that WWE still has. Because she had a good match with Nikki. She had decent matches with Alicia, and she had a really good match with Natalya on SmackDown. I mean, Brie is bad. And you put both of them together, and somebody botches something, and it's like, holy crap, we don't know what to do. And then we also have to remember these Charlotte seems very used to the whole, I have to memorize the whole match before we get out there thing. And that's where people say this all the time, and that's where I come in and I go, the art of being able to call something in the ring is very important in those situations where you're not in there with somebody that knows what they're doing per se, and you forget something or you screw up something. The world doesn't end. You call it, you move on, and you figure out something else. You know.
The one saving grace I have to this, since you mentioned, Brie being extremely inept, despite the fact of who she's married to. Yeah, talent's not sexually transmitted, but you can't be telling me that Brian wasn't at least trying to help her out somewhat. The one saving grace I can have, at least in this case, WWE didn't have Brie go Rey Mysterio on this and give Brie the belt, trying to suckle on the teat that is the exploitation of Daniel Bryan.
No, I think they know better. Because
they sure as hell didn't in 2006.
No, what? Come on now.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
No,
that
does not. Don't sit there and put Ray in this conversation, because that dude sold merch. He brought people to the arena. He did a lot of stuff for them. This does not compare at all. And it's the way WWE booked him after he won the title that made it bad. It had nothing to do with him winning or all that stuff. I mean, you give them a 9-minute triple threat match with Randy Orton and Kurt Angle. Come on, that should have gone 20 minutes. That's a bunch of BS. I mean, then he can barely win any match except for when it's on the pay-per-view. That's all on WWE. I hate it when people bring up the Mysterio thing. That is on WWE and Vince trying to make a point that all they wanted to do was have him win the belt so they can say that they did something for him, and they capitalized off the Eddie thing, and then when it came time to, oh crap, now he's a champion, what the hell do we do? They didn't know what to do at that point. You can't do that with Brie, because there is no upside to Brie winning at all. There is none. She does nothing for anybody. She doesn't elevate anyone. You would have been killing anything you've tried to do with the women if you bring Brie into this and have her win. At least Mysterio's a freaking veteran.
You mean to tell me that you wouldn't want to hear Brie Mo play more than once a night?
No, I don't, and I hope to God that DeMarco's completely wrong when he's sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm calling it right now. Brie's it's gonna be a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania," because he loves to just spout out crap so he can gloat that he was right. I just hope he's completely and criminally wrong, because WWE would be shooting themselves in the both feet and everything else that they put Brie in that match. Let her win the damn invitational thing at WrestleMania if you want to do something like that.
The sad part is I almost feel like I almost feel like he could be right. That not that she'll win, for the love of God. If she were to actually win it, everyone would freak. But I still think, with the fact that the rumors are running rampant that Brie's going to retire whenever her contract ends, or however that's going to go, I still have a hunch she's going to end up getting tossed in somehow.
I even thought she may win tonight, to be honest with you, because of that whole information coming out this past week. I really thought that.
Oh yeah, and her having the Brian kick pads.
Yes.
And, that stuff is just like, oh, come on.
Exactly.
And then, can she have like an original move besides that knee to the ropes or whatever? It's like either she steals stuff from Nikki or she takes stuff from Brian. It's just like, oh, come on.
I was waiting for the rack attack.
Oh, she
did every other big move of her sister and her husband. Why the hell can she hit the rack attack?
Mm-hmm. Because Nikki's not allowed to hit the rack attack anymore.
Well, it's not that. No, Nikki insisted she wasn't going to do it anymore if she ever does come back. Not that she was banned from doing it. It's she insisted on not doing it.
Well, she doesn't want to have another neck problem.
Exactly. So it's not that she's banned from it. The move's not banned. Brie could have absolutely attempted it and probably would have ended up killing Charlotte in the process.
Exactly. That's probably why.
Yeah.
They should ban it, just so Brie doesn't try it.
Yeah. I could definitely understand that. They're not like Lex Luger. They should just leave it alone.
Brie has talent.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Be nice. So I think we spent a lot more time than we probably should have on that match, but that's okay. Let's talk about another match that we probably are not going to spend a lot of time on. I don't want to leave this one for last. That's why I'm doing this one now. But let's talk about the match between the Wyatt family, Kane, Ryback, and Big Show. And, of course, Big Show, Kane, and Ryback win. And that was a little surprise to me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I hated the finish of this. Whatever.
I hate it for Luke Harper. He broke his arm.
Oh, it's a shame. It's a big shame.
Good God, another guy injured.
Oh.
Just bring out the ambulance. They just need to have the ambulance right there at the top of the arena because you know someone is walking out with an injury.
Unless it's their leg, then they're not walking out.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, let's hope it's like one of those, like a fracture or severe sprain or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that did not. I mean, Luke Harper walked back with the referee, kind of like, "Yep, something's going on here."
I mean, he landed full weight with Ryback on that arm. If it's not broken, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
That was nasty. The only head scratcher here is why the Wyatts didn't go over, unless we're getting a rematch at WrestleMania for some god awful reason.
No, because the Wyatts are the losers of the WWE. That's all they do. Is lose on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What did they do wrong? I mean, you would have thought these guys went in the back and grabbed Vince's arm or something. I mean,
I'd love to, Gary.
They actually wrestled on this pay-per-view, so they couldn't have been that.
Yeah, true. They probably just said something bad about Stephanie's hair or something.
Yeah.
So, or maybe told them that she wasn't a hero of the world and all that. So.
Yeah. Or
Triple H, you're 40. Triple H, you're 40. Should you be holding the belt?
Yeah. There goes their career.
Well, Triple H himself said he doesn't really need it.
He doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Triple H thinks a lot of things. But, I mean, overall, I mean, this is just a big disappointment if you ask me, Patrick. I mean, really, the Wyatt family, there's so much potential there, and they just waste it and waste it away. It's almost a joke now, and that's depressing.
Like, this kind of is going to be, the whole IWC smart, they're burying them kind of stuff. But at this point, why keep them together? Why? It's almost like, why does 3/4 of it exist almost? Because, as we've already mentioned, they almost never win. I should say they almost never win a big match, and it boggles my mind almost how they can do so much to build up towards a match, but then when you get to the match, they almost universally end up losing, or you have your opponent get hit with an exploding TV in order for him to win.
Do you think this is one of those
really
where,
is mind-boggling?
You think this is one of those where, like, they saw that everybody thought the Wyatt family were going to win, so they just switched it just to screw with everybody?
Why couldn't they done that for the main event then?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knew Roman
because
was
that
win.
involves a title, or that involves the number one contender thing that they then have to make another match for, and
Wait a minute. I talked to Sean about what they could have potentially had done. Sean, did you and I not talk about it? Considering the fact that there is one more thing, one more semi-major thing that still has to occur, and it would have been a hell of a way to build it up. And I said you could have had Ambrose win tonight, whether it be fluky meetings or whatever, and then you could have had some kind of a stipulation where Reigns can win. If he wins, or Reigns can get added to the match to make it a triple threat if he wins a match at the WWE Network Special in Toronto, which everyone keeps forgetting about.
Well, WWE's only going to have half their roster at that thing, so it doesn't matter.
And that's only because the other half's injured.
Well, no, they have a house. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that house show. That's good. I don't know how they're going to do that house show. They're going to have, like, 1/4 of that house show and the other, just...
Yeah. But, I mean, it legitimately boggles my mind because now there is absolutely no momentum for the Wyatts at all whatsoever.
But we talk
going
about
into
this
the
all the
biggest show of the
time.
year.
We talk about this all the time with the Wyatts. They have no momentum. Okay. Oh, wow, they really did a lot to give them momentum going into this pay-per-view. Oh, well, what
then
they
they
do?
lose.
Oh, they're just dying again.
It's like, what more can they do?
Yeah, exactly. My problem with this whole thing is, okay, you have guys like Bray Wyatt lose, and of course you can have them as a tag lose, whatever. But some of their opponents, you kind of say, well, okay, it could mean something for the other guy. The guy they're facing, it could help them. It does something for them. For these three guys that just beat the Wyatt family, this does nothing for them. These guys are so
It might
out
do
of the
something
loop.
for Ryback. We don't know what he's doing yet. He's the only
I-
one that looked good in this.
Yeah,
except for
but
breaking
still.
Harper's arm. But
I'm sorry, but even this does not inspire me to love Ryback. I apologize, Paul. I just still don't have any motivation to like Ryback after this.
It's not like they give you any.
Here, can I ask, did anybody happen to watch the Stone Cold podcast after Raw on Monday?
Yes, I did.
Does anybody happen to, or do you, since you're the one that answered, do you happen to find it ironic that we had this outcome tonight after what Big Show said about the reason why he still works for the company on Monday?
Yeah, very much so. Because he is there to put people over.
He is versatile, and he is there to get the new guys over. What happens tonight? Nope.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you guys, I need a win. And I'm not blaming the Big Show. That's not his fault. That's definitely Vince's fault. But I do agree. It's funny for him to say that and then coming into this and get the victory. Same with Kane. Ryback's out of that because Ryback is a young guy. If he would have won this alone, I'm cool with it. But the other two old guys, yeah, not so much. And it's not going to do anything for them. They're going to move on and have comedy. They're going to do other things that aren't going to be beneficial to WrestleMania. So, I guess maybe we should get off our high horse a little here. And I just wanted to bring this match up because I was very disappointed, and I want to talk about something I wasn't disappointed in. And that's AJ Styles defeating Chris Jericho. I think this is a heck of a match. I was thoroughly entertained. For me, this is the match of the night. I just was very impressed in their work. I got to know, though, Patrick, what was your thoughts on this?
For me, at times a little bit slow, but other than that, I thought it was actually a really, I would agree, match of the night. They both definitely, put in the work, and this felt like the ending to, a 3-match series, especially with the handshake at the end. I very much enjoyed this one.
The spots in this were pretty good too. I certainly the leap over the top into the drop kick on the outside was amazing. Jericho doing the springboard drop kick while AJ was bouncing on the top rope, which I can't even tell you how many things could have gone wrong on that spot, and it was worked to perfection. But this is great, man. The only thing I question is not letting the Styles Clash be the finish. Because, I mean, that's only the second time we've seen it. I feel like that really should have been it, but they give him the win with the calf crusher, which is... That was a head-scratcher for me, but that was really my only beef, and that's a small one at best.
Do you... And I'm just going to ask you about that, Paul. I mean, my thought process on that is, I totally agree with your opinion, but it's also, is WB trying to kind of calm people down the Styles Clash and maybe say, that's his signature, that's not his finisher?
I would think you would want him to keep that as a finisher because it's still impressive looking as all heck, and two, I mean, if you don't want him to use it all the time, then make sure that's the finish whenever he does break it out. If you're worried about people getting hurt from it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have a hunch, and I talked to Sean about this when we both noticed it. I have a hunch WWE is maybe slowly trying to get AJ to just eliminate it. Considering the fact that, while yes, he could hit it 1,000 times and it would be safe 997 of those times, you still know about those other 3 incidents. So I have a hunch that it's going to be kind of like the pile driver in that they're really not going to allow him to use it. And I'm wondering if the calf killer, the calf crusher, is going to be his finisher from now on.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was leaning to as well. I mean, Sean, as you watch this, do you kind of feel that same way? I mean, because I worry about for guys like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has already had someone on the WWE roster get injured during the Muscle Buster. Are we going to see some of these guys losing their finishes?
Well, the thing is, to me, the Styles Clash is much more impactful. It's a move that when you see it, it looks cool. It sets him apart. I definitely think you need to have him use it still. I think it's just dumb. I think it's dumb to have him kick out of it like that. He didn't need to use it then if he was going to have him kick out of it like that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, I understand they want to push the calf crusher and whatever, and that's fine, much safer move if that's what they're going for, but it bothers me. The Styles Clash has been his thing, and,
I totally agree. I do, and I think that it's kind of a shame that they would do that. I hope it's not. I hope we're all wrong here. I hope it's just the Styles Clash is going to be a rarer thing than maybe we've seen in the past, but I hope it still is his finish. I don't want to see that not be a part of his repertoire. Overall though, just this match alone, I think was really well done. I enjoyed it. I was still kind of, and I'll be honest with you, even with the handshake, I still kind of wish that we kind of left a little there for Jericho maybe later down the line or somewhere. But I get it. I get why I did the handshake because, he's basically saying, okay, good job, kid. You're moving up in this WB. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. So I think, we all enjoyed that match and good stuff out of them. Now, there's one last thing we got to just mention. I don't expect anybody to give a big who or what on this, but there was a U.S. title match at the beginning of the show. It was the kickoff show. I personally didn't watch it. I know Paul, you did not also, you kind of skipped it as well. But Patrick, I know you did watch it. What was your thoughts over that whole thing and the whole scenario that went down there? And, of course, Kalisto is still your U.S. champion.
You guys missed a hell of a match, honestly. Sure, and honestly, part of it probably helped is the fact that it was the only match of the night that we did not have Michael Cole on the call. Instead, we had Mauro on it. Or Mario, if you're JBL, dumbass. Not even kidding. He called him Mario right at the beginning.
Wow.
But I thought that, to me, this was far and away the best match that Del Rio and Kalisto had. Even with Del Rio nearly crushing Kalisto with a baseball swing of a chair shot for the first fall. To me, it really got better, and the ending was a little goofy just because of the way that Kalisto landed for me. But other than that, I thought this was actually a very good match between them in their best.
Sean, you got a chance to watch this, didn't you, or did you not? I don't remember if you told me.
Yeah, I did get to watch it. This was really good. The fact that, Mauro makes this thing feel so important. They do have 2 quick falls here, and then they go kind of longer for the third fall. The stomp off the barricade was nasty. I will say the stomps that Del Rio does in this match much better because they're quick. They're not, let's wait 10 minutes for me to get on the top rope and you hold yourself. But that is so dumb and it makes it look so fake, but he did it much better here. Kalisto was just doing stuff so quick and just constantly moving around and getting Del Rio down. I really liked the way they did it. The finish was a little wonky because it took a little while for him to do the Salito del Sol, but the best part is that Kalisto wins. So hopefully this means that he gets some kind of match. It's probably, it's going to be some kind of cluster 4-way or something, but hopefully it's a good. I'm just glad he kept the singles title because I was worried about they just stick him back with Sin Cara and forget about everything, like they've done in the past with people that were in tag teams before.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm thrilled that Kalisto is still the U.S. champion. I just think that it definitely gives him a boost, and I just don't know what really Del Rio would do with it, because let's be honest, his past runs with it have not been great. So this is good stuff, and I'm glad they did have a kickoff match that was worth people's time. With Morrow being on the call, that's definitely a positive if you ask me. I'm praying to one day they'll bleed over. Maybe we'll get some calls for him in the pay-per-view sometime. So, but that's great. I mean, that's good.
I do want to say good on, I forgot to say this during the AJ match, cool on JBL for making a Baba, Inoki, and Kawada reference all in the same sentence. Probably most people had no idea who those guys are, but it's nice that, for the people that do know, he made those mentions. And I'm glad, they didn't have Cole go in there and go, oh, some stupid, oh, well, those people don't matter, JBL, just...
Mm-hmm. Waller wasn't on the call.
Yeah, well, I can kind of deal with it with Lawler, because I loved him being a heel at the pre-show. He's... him doing that is, I know not everybody likes it, whatever, but I think it works for what it is.
I think part of my issue with Waller being the heel now is not even so much the fact that I'm so used to him being face, but the fact that he's making the same jokes he made 15 years ago. That's my issue. Excuse me. He's making the exact same jokes. The Daniel Bryan thing could bring a tear to a glass eye. It was funny when I heard it in 99 and 2000 with emotional moments. Now, no, I've heard it. It's old. It's done. My question is, Kevin Owens promised to replace Michael Cole with a fish tank. Could Morrow be the fish tank, please?
Yeah. You could only hope and dream.
Pretty much.
I'd be okay with just an actual fish tank and hearing bubbles go off every once in a while on Raw.
Replace JBL with a fish tank, then.
JBL, I believe in that AJ Styles match, if I'm not wrong, mentioned Rick Grimes, so maybe we can get a fish tank with just the zombie head in it,
Yeah.
That'd be solid, too.
Anyway, the fish, Michael, and still have the same commentary.
Yeah. See, we're coming up with solutions every day, all day. Look at this, WB. Just listen to us. But anyway, that is your U.S. title match, and that is the entire card. Actually, guys, we covered all the matches. Now it's time to kind of get.
I do want to say that. I don't know, man. We're gonna be sitting here talking about this main event for I feel like for a while, all the way up to WrestleMania, and then just looking at it and going, do these people just not see what they're... I wonder if it's Triple H on purpose doing this. He knows he's going to get cheered, and maybe it's... Who knows, man? This is so weird.
I find it funny that we're approaching, the 10th anniversary of John Cena beating Triple H in Chicago, considering we're on almost a collision course for the exact same situation.
Yeah.
Because when WrestleMania 22 rolled around in Chicago, it was so bad with that crowd that even JR had to make a mention of the fact that Chicago, being a wrestling city, a traditional wrestling city, was probably going to cheer Triple H more than John Cena. And this was even really before all the hatred towards John Cena had started. And wouldn't you know it, by the time you got to the match, and I think Cena's going for like a 5-knuckle shuffle, and that crowd cannot stand Cena. We're headed on a collision course for the exact same situation, where Triple H, despite being the big badass heel, is going to be cheered in front of potentially the largest crowd in WWE history, and there's almost nothing the WWE can do about it.
Yep, they're setting themselves up for a slaughter, and I don't know. I mean, the only recourse they have for themselves is to turn Reigns the next night or something, because I don't see how this helps Roman Reigns at all. Those people that are going to watch Roman Reigns get the crap booed out of him at WrestleMania, I can't imagine, and then he's going to get the crap beat out of him at Raw the next night. And, when you get done with that whole week, you have to wonder, once they go back to, reality, if those people that supposedly cheer Roman Reigns all the time, are they going to be doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, considering the WWE supposedly has said that they are not going to air everything flat out live anymore, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but supposedly the WWE is now going to air everything on a 7-second delay, or maybe a 7-minute delay. I'm not 100% certain how long the delay is, but they're going to air all live events on some semblance of a time delay, essentially so that they can live edit everything, much like they do with SmackDown already.
What? Oh,
wow.
I'm trying to remember. I think I heard it maybe last weekend.
Wow.
And
I hope you're wrong, because that's just...
That sounds expensive.
Talk about whitewashing your fan base.
Basically, they want to try and get the fans to cheer Roman, flat out.
It's stupid. There's no way you can make 100,000 people sound like they cheered Roman Reigns. Just impossible. Impossible. I don't care what, other than just making it completely mute. It's just, these people are just insane. It's absolutely insane what the lengths that they are going to just to... Look, I get it. You guys effed up when you gave the fans the power with Daniel Bryan. But now you have to live with the world that you made. And, sometimes you're going to have to go with the flow, or you're going to be fighting against the grain the entire time, and it's not going to help anybody.
They can't make the IWC happy every time.
Yeah. No, you can't. No, but see, the thing is, it's not about making the quote-unquote IWC happy, which the IWC is everywhere at this point. I think that whole time of them being this small minority is dumb, because almost everybody's the IWC now. Everybody gets on Twitter. Everybody gets on Facebook. Everybody does crap. It's not like we have everybody gets on social media now. Mm-hmm. It's just. I think it's a total farce. You want to say they're still hardcores? Those are the people who have the network. But to say that there's not an IWC that just lives on Twitter and lives on Facebook, that exists. It's just I don't know. I'm not saying about making them happy. It's just being smart with what you do, and understanding from a concept standpoint that, look, Roman Reigns is not getting over the way we want him to. We have options. What can we do? Do we try to elevate somebody else? Yeah.
But the thing about that is they nearly had it 2 months ago. They nearly had it. When I think I was the one who said it. I said the final 15 minutes of the TLC pay-per-view had done more to help the crowd cheer for Roman Reigns than the previous 2 years had done.
Yeah, and they got Philly to cheer Roman Reigns even.
Yeah, and that was the very next night, I think, when he won the title off of Sheamus. what the hell has happened between the night after TLC, that Raw in Philadelphia, and now? Like, what has actually happened to the point that they get the crowd to turn like that? Because they started getting there and started getting there and started getting there, and they were finally, like, just right at that threshold where they could say, hey, he's finally over, and then everything went to crap again. And now here we are, where it seemed like the boos during the main event tonight were actually getting louder throughout.
No, they were.
It just got louder and louder and louder. And like you just said, it's gotten to the point where the WWE now has to look at it and say, okay, what can we do? Right now, they don't have a lot of options. They don't have the number of options you think they have, considering the time frame they have. They have 6 weeks. They have 6 weeks to try and do something. Once you get past that 6 weeks, then the time frame becomes much larger, because you're not booking towards the biggest pay-per-view of the year when those 6 weeks are over. They don't have that many options right now. They have those 6 weeks to try and do something to get some semblance of a positive crowd reaction towards Roman Reigns. The problem is, I don't know that they can do it. He's facing the wrong guy, because Triple H will still be cheered by the quote-unquote traditional wrestling fans. You know, those that have the respect for him. Triple H has the respect that Roman Reigns doesn't have. And they don't have a lot of time, and I don't think they're going to get it done in time. And Roman Reigns is going to get his ass chewed out at AT&T Stadium. And everyone's just going to have to bite the bullet on this one. And the next night, April 4th, Monday Night Raw at the American Airlines Center, then you start rebuilding and say, okay, what can we do? Just deal with what you have now and reshuffle your deck the next night. That's about the only option they have right now.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the one thing, and I could totally see this happening, you know, we're at WrestleMania main event, and here we are, Paul, you know, everybody's waiting to hear with the music, and of course Triple H is going to come out with that title, and they're going to cheer him, and then Roman Reigns' music's going to happen, and then the boos are going to come down, and they're going to come down with force, and so to avoid that, I think the WWE Network is going to use that delay that Patrick's telling us about to cut away and say, hey, we're live from Stamford, Connecticut. Just allow everybody to know audio went out at the stadium because they were all cheering Roman Reigns so hard our audio was busted. We're waiting till the crowd cheers to go down so we can play the audio for the match. And that's the way they're going to play it. That way the boos are just, no, they're not there.
Ta-da!
They cheered so hard for your Reigns. They cheered. You know,
They killed all the microphones.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, I don't know. We'll find out when time.
All I'm seeing now, though, is like people on Twitter just saying, you know, I spent my time pimping Lucha Underground instead of getting mad about Fast Lane or whatever. I don't think I've ever seen so many Lucha Underground tweets in one feed. Just,
wow.
You know, so those people using their anger for good things.
That's right, exactly. Be positive, right? And you know that The Rock even wears his Lucha Underground shirt, so we should all be happy about that. So,
in my head, I get to remember WrestleMania is only one of 7 shows I'm going to that weekend.
Same.
Yep.
Bingo.
There you go, guys. So. Well, you know what? We got to do a couple of things before we get on to our next segment. But you know, we got to make sure we get our rating. But before we get our rating, we're gonna say match of the night is. I'm gonna go ahead and guess with you guys. Maybe is it AJ Styles versus Jericho? Any disagreements there?
For me, no.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is like, man, it really. I hated the fact that, that there was some awkwardness between them, like just some botches there. Just it wasn't as smooth as you want it to be, you know.
That is
But
true.
for what they did was still pretty great.
Yeah, agreed.
In my case, I actually disagree
Okay.
because for almost the exact same reason, but I just prefer between the two of them. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually going to take the pre-show match, the 2 out of 3 falls match. And part of it could have been, Morrow being the announcer for it, but I thought it actually flowed a lot better. I thought it actually told a better story. Yes, was this the 896th time that these two have faced off? Yes, but I just thought this was the best match between the two of them. And that's not to take away from AJ and Jericho. That was a good match too. But between the two, I actually prefer the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Fair enough. Now, the worst match of the night, I think we may have nailed it down to the Divas title match now. Any disagreements with that one?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
No.
I had to throw it out there, guys. So now, it's time for us to go around the horn.
I mean, that's if you're not counting, I guess, Curtis Axel and Truth as a match.
Yeah, but still, just
that was still a
Truth.
better match.
Yeah, just because of Truth's presence in the ring. So.
I don't know about all that.
Hey.
That's what's up.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, we've got to get our MVPs out there. So, why not? Let's just do this in a bundle here. When you give your rating, give your MVP of the night. Patrick, we'll start with you.
I asked Sean if I could do this. He said yes. I cannot believe I'm about to say this. Morrow.
Okay.
Just because the one match that he did to me just set everything apart and blew Michael Cole out of the water. And for all the wrestlers that were, on this, nothing really stood out for me. It's like he was the one who stood out the most for me in the fact that he made his match feel and give a big match feel and a big fight feel to it. So, and not to knock the wrestlers and everything, they all put in what they could, but nothing really stood out for me. So Morrow is actually my MVP, and that kind of also says a lot about the show. For the most part, we kind of got what we expected, but that doesn't make it any less lackluster. And, for the AJ and Jericho, we've got Bray and Charlotte. So for me, it kind of balances out, and I'm going to give the exact same rating that I gave on the poll on our group page, on your group page, and give it a 5. And that might actually be nice in this case. And I almost feel bad that Jericho and Styles had to have a match of their quality, and Kalisto and ADR were stuck on pre-show. It just seemed like everything just felt really weird about this. The show never really got going, and the entire night felt weird. The first hour stretched on for me. The last hour made no sense to me. So I'm just going to balance everything out and give it a 5.
All right, Paul, your MVP and your rating.
So I'm gonna rate the show first because I'm still scratching my head up for an MVP here. I'm maybe, I don't know. I'm giving the show a 7, even though there's some issues here all along the card. Overall, I think the wrestling on this show delivered, and the main event, while predictable, I think the more interesting part came from everybody else. Like, what's AJ going to be doing going into Mania? Because that's a big question mark. What's Kevin Owens going to be doing? There's a question mark there. A lot of guys that I'm interested in have question marks over their head for where they're going, and that's certainly something to look forward to, and something I think this show did a pretty good job of tying up stuff before we get to where they're going for Mania. So, going to 7 there. I'm leaning towards Brock for MVP because
That's what I was gonna say.
Really loved his performance in the main event. Yeah, I'll just go Brock.
And it's not, and it's I want to preface this by saying all the people that just think we're hating on Roman Reigns or whatever. It's not a slight against Roman Reigns or whatever. Brock, I mean, yeah, he spent part of the match laying down from some tables, but he still...
So did Roman.
Yeah, I mean, he still performed very admirably and did a heck of a lot for everyone in there. So,
What's your rating though out of this whole thing, Sean?
I'm gonna go with a 7 with Paul. It's just you got the one bad match, which some people don't think was that bad apparently, and then everything else was good. You had some great stuff. I mean, the main event was still very good for what it was. I mean, I think. We may hate the finish, and the finish sours you a little bit because of how they did it and whatever. But I think you still had an overall good pay-per-view. You had that 17 minutes of just I don't know what the hell we're doing here. This is a pay-per-view, okay. I just I just don't understand how. What this choice that they made,
Mm-hmm.
and it bothers me that look, I get it, you can make the claim, and everybody was making that same claim that Brock, he no-sold Reigns' spear and did the Kimura. I was like, well, I mean, so what do you guys say to that? Like, is it a eye for an eye, the whole Reigns not selling the 3 chair shots to Brock not selling the spear and the Kimura?
I think with Brock, it's just more believable with the way they've built him.
Yeah.
I have a problem with anybody no selling chair shots, to be honest with you. But I guess maybe I don't want to say it's magnetized more because it's Reigns, but when you take 3 pretty solid chair shots, it seems like you can find a better way to execute a finish than to suddenly go spear, middle, Reigns going to WrestleMania.
See, at this point, with Brock no selling the spear, how much did Brock take at WrestleMania last year? And he essentially no-sold everything. What did he take? Something like 4 Superman punches and 3 spears? So, him no-selling 1 spear into the Kimura, I've got no issue with that. The chair shots I have a bigger issue with. Especially with chair shots not being what they used to be in the WWE. Before they were kind of a thing, but now they're supposed to mean something when you're hitting someone with a chair. So I have a bigger issue with the no-selling of the chair shots into the spear. The fact that it's Roman Reigns is a secondary thing.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, though, there's this. I really hope that this does not happen because it really sucks. But apparently, the Tyson Kidd is going through some Daniel Bryan, and he's not getting cleared by doctors. And he might get forced to retire, too.
Oh, wow. That's a shame. Wow. Him and Natalia both are going to be looking for jobs in the near future. So.
That's mean, Gary.
Not to be mean.
Natalia could easily be a trainer. Come on
she
now.
can. She will.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. And Tyson Kidd will find his way around. He'll do something,
Trainer. He could probably be a trainer, too.
Yeah. He could even be a cat trainer.
I mean, they already live...
Just saying.
They already live in Florida, so...
Yeah. Well, there you go. So they'll be okay. But I just hate to hear that. We'll have updated information, I'm sure, in the near future. I just hate to hear that.
And I guess we all got lucky that the network was fine because, God, I heard so much of the network being terrible.
Oh, no.
I was watching on a huge delay.
Oh, you were watching on a huge delay?
Yeah, I didn't start the show till close to an hour after it started.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really have problems with it, but there was people all over Twitter, all over Facebook complaining about, the network keeps freezing on me, all this, whatever.
Oh no! See, I was one of those. I had issues the entire night. It's probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had with the network because I almost never do. But I was having issues. A, with it freezing. B, at one point I got kicked out back to the home screen. And C, at one point the video would freeze. The audio would be fine, and then the video would go to like 1.5 speed until it caught up with everything and everything synced up, and then it would be fine. But it would but that happened to me like 3 or 4 times tonight.
Wow.
So I had a lot of issues the entire night, and also the quality of it. At one point, I think I was down to like 240.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I was watching on a delay as well, like Paul. So, I mean, I didn't have any issues, but that was probably why. So.
Yeah. And, during this pay-per-view, probably one of the better things to come out of it is WWE announced the signing officially of Shinsuke Nakamura. Took pictures with him. He had quite the suit on with his hair.
A suit that only Shinsuke could pull off.
Yes. His hair was not down, it was up, so he kind of looked like a total nerd. It was funny. And, they have video of Vince, shaking hands with him, and quite funny that it's all Rev Pro, no New Japan. So, obviously, the feud is still going. And what did I know you watched the video, Paul? What'd you think? And it's official now. Everybody that was worried about, we hadn't heard anything, all this stuff. We're good to go.
I mean, the video is like 2.5 minutes. It's worth your time. It's a cool little watch. A lot of the guys that have had experience working with him or have or know him personally talked.